Hey guys, it's Retro here, and I'm coming at you with a vlog over maybe the Super NES Mini. The news broke on IGN, and read it over lunch, kind of freaking out. Now this would be very cool. We all know that the NES Classic Edition has been canceled, and there it is. I don't have one. I'd love to have one. But today I'm gonna just go through 30 games that I think should be on the Super Nintendo Mini Edition, and this is in no particular order. And these are games that should be on it. And some of these are like no-brainers, and some of these are like they should be. So let's get right into it. First game, Pilot Wings. This was a release title. This is a great game. It's kind of a tech demo for its time, but it should be on there. Okay, it basically epitomizes the Super Nintendo, in my opinion, with Mode 7 and all that. Great game. Should be on the list. Next game is FZero. This was also a release title. Great racing game. Utilizes Mode 7 very well. And it is very, very hard. But it's well worth your time and well worth Nintendo's time to put it on the Super Nintendo Mini if they come out with it. Love the graphics. Very colorful. Good game. Next we have SimCity. Another release title for the Super Nintendo. This game, just to kind of mix it up, give the Super Nintendo Mini some variety. This should be on there. Nothing, a little too crazy like Sim Ant or Sim Earth, but this should be on there. Love this game. This actually epitomizes my childhood. I love it. Great game. Next is Star Fox. This came out a little bit later in the Super Nintendo's lifespan, but they utilize the Super FX chip. And as you can see, it's kind of different than most Super Nintendo games. This is like the jump between Super Nintendo and N64. It is kind of a rail-on shooter type game, but should be on there. Next is Super Punch-Out. They're going to put Punch-Out on the NES Classic. You know they're going to put this on there. In my opinion, it's better than the original Punch-Out. Gasp, I know. But to me, it's just more colorful, more enjoyable, and a little bit more challenging. I do like the characters. I like the characters on both. But should be on the Super Nintendo Mini. Next up, a beat 'em up, Final Fight. Now, I debated whether or not putting Final Fight 1 through 3, but this is probably the more famous, most well-known of the series. And yeah, it only has one player, but you gotta have some beat 'em ups on here. I debated putting on here Batman Returns, but this is probably more popular. Next, Lemmings on the Super Nintendo. This is a puzzle game, and kind of a unique little puzzle game using these lemmings. They have different abilities. This was one of the early releases on the Super Nintendo. I rented it all the time, and just to give some variety to the Super Nintendo Mini. Next, we have Racers, if I could talk. And this was a racing game, and it came out late. It wasn't that popular for the Super Nintendo, but knowing Nintendo, they like to put stuff like this on. Well, they did for the Mini, so they're probably going to repeat themselves with this. But a great game, underrated game. A lot of fun. Next, it's kind of a combo, kind of cheating. Tetris and Dr. Mario. You know there's going to be some puzzle games on the Super Nintendo Mini. So why not put two of the best? Dr. Mario and Tetris. Yeah, they're both NES games, but it it would help sell consoles. I love this combo. It's updated a little bit, but it'd be good on the NES, Super NES Mini. Next up, you're gonna have to have some sports games on here. Tecmo Super Bowl III. This is actually one of my personal favorite of the Tecmo Bowl series. And yeah, it's football. The only thing I could see not happening is maybe because this is a licensed game, maybe not having the teams. I don't know. So that might be the only thing holding it back. Next, this is a no-brainer. Super Mario Kart. This is the first incarnation of the Super Mario Kart series. This is my favorite in the series, by the way, because this is the game I grew up with, and this alone, I mean, this would be enough to own it if it were like $60, in my opinion. Next, you know you're gonna have some fighting games on here. Super Street Fighter Turbo, 2 Turbo, and this actually would probably go in tandem with. They're actually re-releasing this on the Switch, so it might go hand in hand with it. And when I think of fighting games on the SNES, I think of this and Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat might be too iffy to put on the Mini. Next, we have a Super R-Type, a shooter. I debated between this and Gradius, but ultimately this, I think, is probably more popular, and it's an early title. Gradius, I'd put Gradius on there over this, but just thinking about Nintendo and how they think and how they operate, this would be on there. It's a good game, though. Next, we have Mega Man X, kind of in the same vein when they had Mega Man 2. Now, I don't know if they'd put Mega Man X2 on there. Hopefully they wouldn't put X3. But Mega Man X is, to me, when you think of Super Nintendo Mega Man games, this is the first one to come to mind. And they would be a fool to not include it on the Super Nintendo Mini. Kind of using the same strategy as the NES Mini. Next, you got Kirby's Dream Course, kind of a different game, and they're gonna put like strange choices on there. This is kind of a golf puzzle type game with Kirby. It's really weird. It's not really my thing per se, but you know they like to put different things on there to mix it up. Next, this is a no-brainer. Kirby Superstar. This is my favorite Kirby game. For good reason, but you would get a lot of bang for your buck out of this title. And fans would love to have it on there. Now they might, Nintendo might actually put Dreamland 3 on here, but this would be a better choice, in my opinion. A lot of content here. Next, you're going to have a sports title, Ken Griffey Jr.'s Winning Run. And this was actually produced by Nintendo when they owned the Mariners. So, you're going to have... This is actually not a bad game. But the only thing is they may not have the Mariners license anymore. But it would be worth a try. And also Rare made this game too. Next up, to satisfy some RPG fans, Final Fantasy III or 6. And This is, guys, I can't say enough about this. This is probably like my second or third favorite RPG of all time. They would probably outsell the total number of Super Nintendo consoles sold if they put this game on there, as well as these other titles like Final Fantasy II, or 4. And this was an early RPG on the SNES. Great game. Love the story. It's sad that we got the easy type, but this would be awesome on the Super Nintendo mini list. And there's the last boss. Spoiler alert. Not his final form, by the way. But yeah. Next up, Earthbound. I do like this game. I do, oh my gosh, I do think it's a little overrated, but I do enjoy it. I played it back in the day. Nintendo would be complete fools if they didn't release this. Right? It would just not be good for them. Yeah. Next up, it's going to be kind of 3 in 1. Donkey Kong Country 1. Donkey Kong Country 2. Diddy Kong's Quest, which is the best one in the series. Donkey Kong Country 3. Dixie Kong's Double Trouble, which was not the best, but I kind of like that one too. These would be no-brainers. Next, you'd have Contra III, the Alien Wars, and they put Super C on the NES Mini, so this would just be another good step for Nintendo to please fans, and it'd be a no-brainer, really. I mean, a lot of kids grew up with this game. I grew up with it. It's very popular. It's hard, but it'd be a no-brainer. Next, Turtles in Time, TMNT 4. This game, I see a couple problems with them putting it on the NES, Super NES Mini licensing. Okay, Nintendo, or not Nintendo, but Nickelodeon actually owns a license to this. So they may or may not get it. It'd be awesome if they were able to. This is my favorite beat 'em up of all time. Next, Castlevania 4. Super Castlevania 4. And kind of going with what they did. They put some Castlevania games on the NES. Castlevania 2, if I remember correctly. And this, again, this would be a no-brainer. When people think of Super Nintendo, this is probably in the top 10 or top 5 games they think of. No-brainer game here. They should have it. Next, Super Metroid. Again, a no-brainer choice. Nintendo would be boneheads if they did not include this in their Super Nintendo Mini. There's a lot of content here to keep fans happy. It's very dark, brooding. I love the atmosphere. And just a lot of great gameplay. Next, you're going to have Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island. And you probably have an idea what's going to come next after this. But I did play this back in the day. Yeah, I don't like the baby Mario crying and all that. But this would be another very good choice. Very colorful and very popular. So this would be another no-brainer choice. Next is Super Mario World. Release title, one of my all-time favorite. It is my all-time favorite Mario game. And you can't go wrong with this. I mean, this would be like having the NES Mini and not having Mario 3. Okay, so you gotta have this on there. Now, next is my all-time favorite Zelda game. You guys should know that if you know this channel. And that's